What is up, ball bags? JJ back here from Up Your Bets with another free pick for time's going to be in college football for Friday, October the 8th. Game's going to be played between the Florida International Panthers and Charlotte 49ers. Current betting spread is 49ers minus 3.5. Total 60.5. So last Friday evening's play with Utah State plus 9.5 ended up being a loss. Not a bad one by any means, and I'm always quick to judge myself in a negative fashion when it's needed. Utah State never trailed by more than 2 scores, and they had plenty of potential to backdoor cover there. Regardless, this Utah State team continues to break my heart under Blake Anderson. Very strong Saturday, though, for me, sweeping the live show 3-0 and bouncing back quite nicely. Ebbs and flows with sports betting, folks. Ebbs and flows. For Friday night's game, or tonight's game, depending on the time you're watching, we get Charlotte on the board. Again, a team that I've gotten right both times I've bet them this season. So let's go for the turkey here, as my bowling friends would say, and dive right in. All right, so I actually really like the dog at home here. Catching a field goal on the hook at 3.5. Florida International in this spot has a lot to do with me wanting to fade Charlotte when they're away from home. If you guys remember, we bet the over when Charlotte played Middle Tennessee because it was a get-right spot for Charlotte's offense at home. Middle Tennessee was a team, due for positive regression in regards to their offense. So then we played Charlotte's team total under against Illinois on the road. And here I'm going to fade them entirely. I think FIU is super live to upset here, but I'll happily take the 3.5 points our way instead. Now let's first talk on Charlotte. Since we've gotten very accustomed to this team over the last few weeks, Chris Reynolds really developing into a decent passing quarterback. Happens to love his boy Grant DeBose from the outside at the wide receiver position. And with all this said, Charlotte looked lifeless versus Illinois on Saturday, right? And it was what I described in the video that I have concerns on this Charlotte team, specifically when they play on the road and when they play good defenses. Now here, definitely not playing a good defense, but again, they still are on the road. In their other road game they had this season, it was against Georgia State, and they looked just as lifeless as they did this past weekend. Now Charlotte needs to prove to me they can have 4 full quarters of success offensively on the road before I feel comfortable backing them or not fading them, if you will. Like I said, the good news for them here is that FIU's defense has been tough to watch this season. Now, a bad loss to Texas State earlier in the year for FIU, and then some tough defensive games for this FIU squad with Texas Tech and Central Michigan and Florida Atlantic. And they're likely to play better defensively here versus Charlotte, but they're really going to need their offense to find its stride. Speaking of their offense, I've really liked what I've seen from them over the last 3 games, even though they've lost. And they've lost 4 in a row, but they're having severe issues running the football, but they have a very live arm at quarterback in Max Bortenschlager. Yeah, say that one 3 or 4 times. He's the former Maryland quarterback, and he wasn't like a super touted prospect coming up. I think he was like a 2-star recruit, but either way, he has Power 5 level experience, and he's thrown for less than 250 yards just once through 5 games. He's much of a pocket passer as you'll see in college football. Charlotte has issues getting pressure on the quarterback, and I know this might sound silly, but Bortenschlager is arguably the best pure passer Charlotte's seen, or Charlotte's defense will see up to this point this year. Now, if the FIU O-line can keep him upright, I like FIU to move the football a lot through the air here down the field. There's also the whole Butch Davis narrative where he's definitely on the hot seat. Another loss like this, just going to zoom in further on the magnifying glass for his job security. Now, whether or not you think Butch Davis is a good coach really shouldn't matter because he does have years of Power 5 coaching experience and should be able to translate that into more wins for the Panthers. Between the previous year and this year, though, to start, it's been a bit rough for this squad. Look, I always say how we look for correlated line value from weeks prior, right? If these two teams met week 1 or week 2, FIU's probably a slight favorite money line wise, right? But because FIU's 1-4 and 3 of these losses were big underdogs, and Charlotte's 3-2 with an upset win over Duke, this is pumping the market a bit too heavy. And since that Duke win, though, this Charlotte team has been a different group entirely. For me, FIU's been a tough team to watch, yes, especially on the defensive end. But Charlotte's defense is very explosible through the air. They're also explosible on the ground, but as we know, FIU does not run the ball that well. And FIU has shown a ton of promise through the air, led by Bortenschlager, and I expect more of that here in this one versus Charlotte. Charlotte's offense on the road has been woeful, and while they draw a good matchup here, I simply can't look past the stallings that this offense has incurred being away from home. Now, Reynolds is going to have a great game here for Charlotte, in my opinion, for them to win this. And he very well could, and they could win, of course, but between his road struggles, FIU's passing game, which should have success for Charlotte, and Butch Davis's need for a winnable game in this program, I like the small number here in favor of the Panthers, and I think we're getting a line that's a bit of an overreaction over what we've seen from these teams over the last few weeks. So again, give me FIU plus 3.5 bones, minus 110 at DK in New Jersey. May the odds be ever in our favor. I want to thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed, thumbs up. Create some fake accounts more. Thumbs up. If you did not enjoy, I'd wake up with your nuts tied to a car battery. As always, drop comments below your thoughts in the video and let me know who you're betting for this Friday slate. Maybe even let me know who you're betting for Saturday's slate. We have content lined up all weekend on this channel from Run Pure. I'll be back live talking college football on Saturday at normal time. I already had the Print Factory show with the DFS crew on Wednesday evening. That's free on the Run Pure Sports YouTube channel, running down all the NFL games. I was giving betting perspective. JSU Big T giving also some betting perspective in DFS, of course. There will also be back on the NFL show Sunday with Run Pure Sports talking right up until go time at 1 o'clock, 12 to 1-ish. We'll have live shows for UFC, NFL, NASCAR, and of course, all our NFL content and plays at runpurebets.com. So check us out over there. Be sure to see what we're all about, and be sure to use code BETS25OFF for 25% off for all sports. Ends up being like $12 a month. Super cost effective. Anyway, as always, folks, be sure to gamble responsibly. Stay safe. And thanks again for watching.